I'm John Cobb with Cobb Cycling, and today I'm doing a continuing video. And today's video is going to be about taking a road bike and converting it to a triathlon bike or time trial bike, and we're just going to go through some simple steps but show you how to get there for not very much money. So I thought that'd be kind of fun. The first thing I want to do, this is a road bike that we did in an earlier video, and this rider ended up in a pretty aggressive position, but he's young and has an A-style back and does real well with it. But I wanted to show a couple of things. One is on this bike, I made this simple plumb bob. The nose of this saddle is 6.5 centimeters behind the bottom bracket. And it's hard to tell that without being able to really measure it, but this is a critical measurement because this affects how you drive into the cranks and make power. Then the other thing is on road bikes, with our seats in particular, it's very common to have the saddles angled up. This seat's at a 4.3 degree upward tilt, and even though this bike's ultimately set up with really low handlebars, it's a real good position because Robbie can rotate his pelvis into that, and it works really well. Okay, so come on up, Robbie, and hop on. And we're going to get a reference to these lines I have in the background of his position on this road bike. And I've got some markers on his knee and his hip and his shoulder to show the pivot points here. And so that'll all be good now. So now we have a good reference of the relationship to his back and to the lines on the back wall. Okay, hop off, Robbie. Now I went ahead and earlier and set up a seat post with a seat on it to the right height, and some aero bars, and of course I lost it. You can see the differences here. One of the differences is on time trial aero bars, we almost always run the seats level to slightly down. And even though this looks level, this is really nose down 2.2 degrees. Level is just up a couple of millimeters. So when you're setting up a bike on, for aero bars and time trials, it's pretty common to end up in this position. I'm going to slip on these clip-on bars. The point of this is making this conversion with a reverse seat post and a set of standard clip-on bars really only cost no more than $300. And while it's not really as good ultimately as a purpose-built triathlon bike, it'll do a pretty good job. And the next video series is going to be for riders with our B-style back, where their back has more flexibility up in the shoulder blades, which is unfortunately more common for how regular age group athletes are. The athletes that have the lower back flexibility and the A-style backs can get really flat and take advantage of this. But one of the things you're going to see is that, we'll do it in the next little part, is that Robbie on his drops can actually get lower than he can on the aero bars. But it's not faster, and we go to the wind tunnel to test this repeatedly, and we now use power meters all the time to test this. And what happens is with aero bars, you can use them to build leverage to make more watts. And using aero bars for leverage going up hills and into headwinds is usually worth about 25 watts. But the bigger thing about aero bars is that it establishes a boat weight around the front of the rider to make the air not interact with the shoulders and hips. Now real quick, I'll show you with the same plumb bob. Now our seat, and I measured it earlier, now it's 3 centimeters. It's still behind the bottom bracket, but it's only 3 centimeters behind the bottom bracket. So we moved it forward a good bit by using this curved seat post. We've got it down. Okay, Robbie, hop on this. Now, this is the kind of back that we all want to have. Just that most of us have some diaphragm interference problems. But if you look in the reference to the lines in the back wall, you can really see, and just imagine aerodynamically how the air comes through here, doesn't do anything but just flow straight off the back. If Robbie had on an aero helmet, it really wouldn't matter, I would suggest, because he's got big square shoulders, that he used a short tail helmet so that the air will pull down here. And ideally you want the air to come through here and then accelerate up over his hips. But this would be a pretty good position. Probably couldn't quite do an Ironman in this position, but should be able to do half Ironmans and Olympic races with no problem. For a full Ironman, we'd probably raise him up about an inch. Hop on your drops for a second. So see, even on his drops in a hard sprint, he's not really much lower, just a little bit. If you look at his shoulder pivot point, now go to your brake hooves. You see, this is where you really gain an area as you're on your brake hooves. Now go to your aero bars. So he's dropped some area in his shoulders to make the air flow off better. Well, the whole point is you got to have a comfortable seat or you can't ride this way. And tilting the seat and rotating the seat slightly, if your bike will allow that, really helps with those things. Thank you.